Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States have entered into a defensive pact to combat rising Chinese power in the indo-Chinese region. Breaking down the pact is Talking Points analyst Spencer Kweskin. Spencer?
Thanks, Tegan. Last Wednesday, President Biden announced a new national security initiative with Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States called AUKUS. Take a listen.
Update and enhance our shared ability to take on the threats of the 21st century, just as we did in the 20th century, together.
The security partnership was made to counter rising Chinese power in the Indo-China region. The United States will assist Australia in acquiring nuclear submarines. Now, only a handful of countries even have nuclear submarines. These are the United States, the United Kingdom, China, Russia, India, and France. However, not everyone is happy with this arrangement. China is upset with the deal, with the Deputy Director of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs stating, "The United States and Australia gang up to smear China, interfere in China's internal affairs out of geopolitical interests, and drive wedge between regional countries. China deplores and firmly opposes this." Meanwhile, France is extremely unhappy with AUKUS, particularly with an Australian decision to withdraw from a $66 billion contract to purchase 12 French diesel submarines. The French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Jean-Yves Le Drian, announced on Friday, "At the request of the President of the Republic, I am recalling to Paris without delay our ambassadors to the United States and to Australia for consultations. This exceptional decision is justified by the exceptional gravity of the announcement made on the 15th of September by Australia and the United States."
Now, Spencer, what does this deal mean for the rest of Europe?
Yeah, so this really represents a turning point for the rest of Europe. Firstly, for the United Kingdom, this is a huge win for Boris Johnson and his global Britain post-Brexit strategy. Secondly, this represents a shift in attention of the United States away from China. Now, if you remember, back in 2018, you had Donald Trump stating that the EU was the United States' greatest enemy. And he said this, and he said that the EU was the US's greatest foe. But now you have Biden saying the same course of action. So this is no longer confined to just one president and one administration. Instead, it's now a complete shift in US relations, which means that Europe has to pick a side between the United States and China. Now, some countries are already making that choice, with Poland celebrating the deal as getting serious about China and defending the free world. Lastly, France must be careful here, as they may isolate themselves internationally. As in every region that France cares about, you have the Sahara, you have Russia, you have the Indo-Pacific. The United States is a critical ally in all of those regions.
And so, Spencer, you mentioned France. Are there any remedial talks planned with France or the rest of NATO?
Yeah, so as of right now, the relationship between France and NATO, and especially Australia, is not very good. You have one of the lowest points in relations between France and Australia since about 1995. And then you have other countries in the region talking about this too. You have Malaysia stating that this deal could spark a sort of regional nuclear arms race. And you have them saying that they could have more aggressive acts in the South Pacific. Now, Malaysia didn't specifically mention China in all this, but China has been acting more and more and more aggressive in the South Pacific. Now, as of right now, the deal looks like it's going to be moving forward. So the United Kingdom and Australia are putting faith in the United States that the U.S. is going to be a lasting power in the South Pacific.
All right, Spencer Kweskin, thank you so much.